FIA has received a dispensation request to give Andrea Kimi Antonelli a super license before he turns 18 in late August. And the request didn't come from Mercedes, allegedly. Well, that's what Toto Wolff says. He says that he denied that it was Mercedes that put in the request, so take that for what you will. Frankly, when someone denies something in F1, I always take it with a pinch of salt, but this article from F1 does say that it's believed to be Williams who put in the request, so again, take that for what you will. Now, this comes as there was rumours going around that Miami could be Logan Sargent's last race in F1 ahead of being replaced ahead of the Imola Grand Prix, which is the next race, by Antonelli, of course. Because everybody canes about these rumours by now. If you don't cane about them, this is the first time you're hearing about these rumours, frankly, I'm convinced you've been living under a rock. He was also just recently testing it in the W13 at Imola with Mercedes, and according to what the word that's been going around, his times weren't all that shabby. And when you take that into account, combined with the fact that, you know, Imola's the next race and the FIA dealing with this request to give him his super license early, apparently, then yeah, I can see why there's a bit of thought, oh, he could be coming in at the next race in Imola. But I really, really hope that these rumours are false. Because first off, Antonelli is 17 years old. He is still really, really young in his career, and he has plenty of time ahead of him to make it to Formula 1. And then second off, he's talented, we all ken that, but he's still pretty inexperienced in single-seaters. I mean, he only started in single-seaters in 2021, he was in Formula Regional just last year, and if I'm not mistaken, his only F1 machinery so far, as of the recording of this video, is the 2 recent tests he's done with Mercedes in the W12 at Austria, and then the W13 in Imola. He completely skipped F3 and went straight to F2 from the aforementioned Formula Regional, where he was just in last year. And in F2, of course, 6 races into the championship, he's currently sitting 9th in those standings. He hasn't exactly been setting the world alight, but I am willing to put part of that down to the fact that Prema haven't, so they've been a little shaky so far this season to word it one why. The fact that Antonelli is so young in his career, and he doesn't have the most experience in single-seaters so far, and also very little experience in F1 machinery, it does mean that getting him into F1 this early, it is a huge risk, you know? And it risks kind of killing his career if he isn't as good as the hype suggests. As I said on Twitter the other day, if this is all true and it happens, it only ends one of 2 ways. Badly, or the next Max Verstappen. No in between. Frankly, we don't need the next Max Verstappen yet. We're fine with the original at the moment. I just think Antonelli should be given more time to develop, if you know what I mean. Just, cause look, I get it. Mercedes don't want to lose him in the same way that they lost Max Verstappen 10 years ago. I get it. But as I said, he's still so young. He's not going anywhere. He's still gonna be around in a year or 2 or so. And I think Mercedes can afford to at least just wait until next year to get him in, or Williams if that's the team that is kind of wanting to get him in to replace Logan Sargent. I think people can afford to just lay off him a little bit and then just let him be. Let him finish his F2 season, then go from there, you know? And crucially, don't rush him too quickly. And then third, Logan Sargent hasn't been doing great this season in his time in F1 as a whole, but anyone being dropped mid-season is rough. No matter what. It's rough to be dropped mid-season. I think that's something we can all agree upon. Do I think Logan will keep his seat for 2025? No, I do not. Unfortunately for the Floridian, I do think his time is limited, but not as limited as some rumors suggest it will be. If he does want to keep his seat, then I think he needs to up his game a little bit. Like, yeah, there is only so much he can do in the Williams car that he has. And he did get shafted out of his car in Australia in favour of Albon taking over that car after he completely binned his off in practice, and then he, well, didn't get his original chassis back in Japan. He instead got given the repaired chassis, which he then crashed, but by the by. The thing is, Logan isn't a rookie anymore. You know, he's in his 2nd season, so he can't hide behind that rookie banner anymore of like the excuse of like, he's a rookie, give him a bit of time. This season is his make or break season, and unfortunately I think it will break and not make. I can see Antonelli replacing Sargent for 2025 if Toto doesn't just haul him straight up to the Mercedes team, that is. And I can see the benefits of that. I can see the benefits of Antonelli going straight up into the Mercedes camp. I can see the benefits there, especially with, a reg change coming in 2026. Might be better to get him in 25 instead of just going in with a brand new reg set, give him a chance to get used to the team and racing for the team and that and all that. But also I can see the benefits of Antonelli doing a year or two at Williams, say. Because, yeah, he would still be under pressure, there's still pressure on him, like, with all the hype that's around him that he has, but he would be under less pressure at Williams than he would be at Mercedes. Because Williams, they're not as good. Mercedes aren't great right now, but they're not as bad as what Williams are. Williams are a bit farther down the grid, so it would be a little bit more pressure off, Yes, there's every single chance in the world that this dispensation request was put in so he can do some FP1 sessions, in fact FP1 outings, and no have to wait until the Italian Grand Prix at the earliest. But to that I ask, why not just wait? Like, what's wrong with just waiting a couple more months until Monza, Like, I don't see what's wrong with that, if that is the reason. And on that, also, surely it can't just be for FP1 outings though, can it? Because if it was, surely it would have been Mercedes who would have put in the dispensation request, because surely he would have been doing the FP1 outings with Mercedes, and Mercedes would be the ones wanting to get him in for those FP1 sessions with either them or convincing James Vowles to put him in the car. Surely it would have been Mercedes if it was for FP1, right? But Toto will say, no, it wasn't us. We didn't put in the request. And it's apparently believed to have been Williams, apparently. Like, seriously, I'm not the only one thinking that if it was just for FP1 outings, surely it would have been Mercedes going begging to the FIA. Right? Anyways, if the FIA do grant this dispensation and Antonelli gets his super license prior to turning 18, one, I can't imagine that Colson Herta, while he's doing fine where he is in IndyCar, I can't help but imagine he might be a little bit ticked off that he didn't get special dispensation when the fact that just for the fact he didn't have enough super license points when he was old enough for a super license, and we know that he can drive a car quickly, there's no danger of that. But also, if they give Antonelli a super license before he turns 18 because, the kid is talented and Mark thinks they have the next Max Verstappen, the FIA would be going against the rule that they themselves put in to avoid another Max Verstappen situation of a driver coming in ridiculously young. And let's be fair, 17 is ridiculously young to be joining the Formula 1 grid. I'm sorry. Williams have, of course, denied that Logan Sargent is about to lose his seat mid-season, and I really, really want to believe that they are not bullshitting us, and it is genuinely false that Logan is about to lose his seat. And it's also been reported that Mercedes are going to be running Antonelli and Schumacher in a test at Silverstone next week, and I'm assuming by next week, then that's this week, because that was a couple days ago, like during the Miami Grand Prix weekend, I think it was that news kind of came out, tail end of last week. That's for a bit of a comparison test, and it's also been said, apparently there's no plans for an early debut for Antonelli, as Toto doesn't want him to get burned, and I hope that he's truthful in those comments, because, yeah, you don't want the kid to get burned out before he's even really started in F1, And apparently Williams are interested, but only if they can keep him for 2 years. But again, with Toto there saying that, there's no plans for an early debut for Antonelli, that kind of comes back to my thoughts there kind of come back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video on when someone denies something in F1. I take that denial with a tiny pinch of salt. What do you think about all this though? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.